My name is Esteves Luciano Tuti, and I will talk about the impact of visual aids in learning English as a foreign language in 9th grade students at Brilhante, Luigi. How do you feel when you take a book to read? You will open the book and you will notice that book there isn't any design, no image, illustration. Would you feel motivated to read this kind of book? Well, I don't think so. And what about if I take this kind of book? We can see that we have a lot of image, illustration, and how do you feel? Would you feel motivated to finish the reading of this book? Yes, of course. This also happens in our classroom. When students they can see what they are learning, they feel motivated to participate in our lesson, they feel motivated to attend our class because they are learning and they are seeing what they are learning. But unfortunately, during our investigation at College Gatwick, we found that the students they are not motivated to learn English as a foreign language because they think that English is a boring language and the teacher they do not use a lot of time visual aids in their lessons. With this problem in our mind, we ask, how can we use visual aids to enhance students' interest in learning English as a foreign language? I also said during the lesson observation, I saw that when students they had a lesson like biology, physics, mathematics, and the classroom was so full. But in time of English lesson, unfortunately, the classroom was so empty. Because of that, we have two scientific questions. How can we use visual aid to motivate our students to learn English as a foreign language? And how can teachers should be able to use visual aid to motivate students? To answer these questions, we have two research tasks. The first is that the teachers they have to know how the visual aid what to propose the use of visual aid in learning English as a foreign language in 9th grade student at College Gatwick. The object of our study was the teaching learning process and the teaching learning process as a foreign language in Nigeria. And of course, this is scientific work. It means that we based our investigation according to some efforts. We are already talking about visual aid, but what is visual aid? Well, according to Mahmoud, 2024, he said that visual aid are image, pictures, videos that we can use to teach our students. But we do not use visual aids only by using it as a decoration, not. We use visual aids according to our objective. Let's suppose that we want to teach about plants, specifically types of leaves. Which kind, what is our objective in that lesson? At the end of the lesson, students should be able to describe the types of leaves. Which kind of visual aid we can use to teach our students? Well, I got one visual aid that we can use to teach our students. Unfortunately, it is in Portuguese language. When I show this visual aid to my students, they will pay attention to what I'm showing. This is the impact, they will be attentive. And when I'm showing this visual aid, the student will think what will come next. And of course, one thing that we have to take into account when we are using visual aids is that all the students in the classroom, they have to see what I am showing. How can we do that as teachers? Of course, we have to move in the role. I have to show to my students what I am performing. Why is that important? It's important because if the students they feel that we do not care about what we are showing, or if they are learning or not, they will feel that we do not care about them, and they will not feel motivated to learn. And this is important also because when students they can see that we mind about them, that they can learn, they will feel motivated to learn. And of course, we have this visual aid according to our objective. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to describe the type of leaves. For instance, if I ask for my student, listen up, how many kinds of leaves are you seeing here? 22. Of course, 22. Well, our focus in this lesson or in this investigation was not specifically for principal skills like speaking, reading, listening, and reading. It was the impact of visual aids and learning process. When students they can speak, it means that they learn something. And when my students speak, of course, he's listening. If he's listening, it means that when I show my visual aid, that student they will pay attention to what I'm showing. They will try to read what is here. And this is what we want. This is the impact of visual aid. And what about if we are teachers and in our lesson, in our school, we don't have visual aids? Well, in this case, according to Harmon 2007, we say that we as teachers, we can add as a visual aid. How come we found the resources like image, picture, we as teachers, we can add as a visual aid? Well, we can do that according to Jeremy Harmon 2007 with our movements. When we use our gesture, facial expression, we will teach our students. Let's suppose that we want to teach about verbs. Well, I do not have nothing to talk to my students, but me as teacher, I can add as a visual aid. How can we do that? Let's suppose that we want to teach about verbs. Run. I don't have nothing to talk to my students, but I can run. They will understand that run means run in Portuguese. And let's suppose that I want to teach my students about to eat. I don't have nothing to show to my students, but me as teacher, I'm adding as visual aids. Of course, we use methods in our investigation. We use qualitative and quantitative methods, and we also theoretical method, empirical method, practical method, and we work with population was of 45 students, but we work only with 30 students. Unfortunately, the college of English, they have only 6 teachers, and we work with those 3 teachers. What if we use a method, it means that we get some results. Which results we get? Okay, well, we are talking about visual aid. Put the image there, please. Image, this graphic, very good. We can see that 3% of students, they say that visual aids are not used in their lesson. And 40% of students, they say that visual aids are rarely used. And 30%, they say that the teacher, they never use visual aids. And we see there, we can see that most of 45 students, they say that they learn vocabulary by teacher when he uses visual aids. And we can see also that visual aids in the students, they can learn better. At the end, we notice that most of 100% students, they say that they prefer lesson that contains visual aids instead of speaking lesson or reading lesson.
Goes back to conclusion.
Very good.